I grew up in a household where I had a mother who had children by several different men, and all of us used to run around the house talking about how bad our father was. Your daddy ugly, well, your daddy broke. And then my other brother, his daddy was ugly and broke, so he just had, like, we got him all day. But I never thought it was strange because all my friends' daddy was either ugly or broke too. So it was like it was a normal thing in the black community. Nobody had their fathers around. I mean, they may have been around in the neighborhood, and you kind of guess if that was really your dad or if it's this other guy, because mom would get mad at him and say, well, he's not your kid anyway. These were normal discussions in the households of a lot of blacks, especially in the inner city. I never thought it was anything wrong until my mom moved us from the ghetto to middle class in the suburbs. I noticed all the white kids had their fathers. I also noticed all the white kids' fathers was in their like 50s and stuff when we were in like middle school, which was odd because all the black kids' parents was about 10 to 12 years older than them. You go to the club with your mama, it was cool. But, so I started to see a different dynamic. Then I started to notice that there was this thing called, I don't need a man. All the teenage girls would talk about having a baby. They wanted a baby. It was like an accessory more than it was. It really was. It was an accessory. They would say what they wanted to do with the kid. And they really wanted to have one. And by the time they turned 16, well, they got what they wanted. It still wasn't strange, but when I saw that the white girls were having just as much sex as the black girls, but they weren't having as many kids. And I noticed, we talked about this thing called anal sex, but that is not what we're going to talk about here. But as I grew up and I grew older, I started noticing we got to college, and a lot of the girls in college had children by the time they would get to college, or they would drop out because they had gotten pregnant. These things weren't abnormal. The people never got upset. Their parents never got mad because there was no father around. It was strange that black men are asked to be men when there's no reason for them to be a man. Because why would you want to be a man when men are hated in your community? I'll explain. Well, my dad was either ugly or broke. Your dad was never around. I couldn't stand him. He didn't send a check. You can't get shoes because dad didn't send you money. He became the blame of everything that went wrong in the black household, and the mom became she was the goddess. She was everything. No matter what she did wrong, you never could blame her. Then I looked at society, and I noticed right now, today, society is doing the same thing with men. Why would any man want to grow up to be a man? Especially a black man. That's why if you notice in these movies, they have black men being very gay, and everybody loves that gay black man. Because why would he want to be a masculine man? Because he's going to be accused of something, or he has to be some kind of misogynist. Tupac Shakur, one of the greatest African-American literary artists of all times, he had a lyric in one of his songs. He talked to his mother. He said, even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. And I said, damn, the bar is low on queendom. But daddy missed 2 child support payments and he ain't shit. And I did not understand why we would give women so much credit. And especially for things that would happen like it's a biological function. You give birth to a child, it's a biological function. I'm sorry, ladies. I know it's something I wouldn't do because I've seen it. It looked different. Looked painful, and I fantasize with it. But it still is a function of biology. But they get credit for doing this, but not a man. A man doesn't get credit. They say, like if you have a horrible mom, I think it's, what is her name? It's another one of these great black historical figures, Black China. Well, her mother came on to a Facebook Live. That is the place where all of your life must be broadcast. Facebook Live, she came on there and she said, I don't care if I slept with the whole Genghis Khan's army. I'm still your mother and I deserve respect. Was that low bar? And I thought about it. I said, have you ever heard anyone speak of a man this way? You could be a husband of 20 years with a woman and 5 kids. You're taking care of them your whole time. You lose your job. You've been out of work for a year. What will the community look at you as? Deadbeat. lazy. Girl, you need to get you a new man. He don't have a job. But a woman can sit around and literally not have a thing. And hook up with a guy that's worth me. That's my current girlfriend. You didn't bring anything to the table, but you sure got half of it when you left. I talked to a lot of men, and when I was doing the Fatherless America, it was really sad because I thought, well, it's a black and white issue. But then I realized black people are the canary in the coal mine. Whatever happens to us will eventually happen to you. And if white men are smart, see, your plight is different than ours. We don't marry women to get them pregnant. Y'all were dumb enough to marry. In the process, instead of child support, you had alimony. So you got two bills, and in some cases, white women are so intelligent, they came up with palimony. I had no idea what this was. This was the idea of you said, we were dating and you were taking care of me. You told me we were going to get married. You didn't marry me and you still owe me. Because you didn't do it. I wish that worked. And all the times the girls have told me they were going to give me something, they reneged on it. Because I could go to court and make sure they gave it to me. Or if I was as smart as Bill Cotton, let me not go there. It's guaranteed. That's all I got to say. But the women were so smart, the white women were so smart that they convinced these white men that it was their job. And then remember what manhood is, or what being a man was supposed to be. Men had no problem with it. We never wanted to be women. We never had vagina envy. You've never heard that phrase. But you do hear women say, and you have heard that phrase throughout the years, of penis envy. Men were okay with their position, even though they had to go out and fight and die in wars. We were okay. We wanted to go to Valhalla. We were fine with taking care of our wives. We were fine with taking care of our concubines if we were dating. But you were fine doing the things that society told you what to do. And then one day they said, well, women want equality. And I'm not against equality. I'm not against fair. Because I'm a black man. So of course I wouldn't be fair because I don't want to go back to the slave days. And I live in Arizona and I don't know how they had slavery in Arizona. 125 degrees, I would quit. I put in my 2 week notice. And you'll notice I haven't been there for 2 weeks. But, so I'm not against being fair. Being fair is one thing I'm okay with. So women, I'm not one of those guys that's saying you need to be in the kitchen because I actually like cooking. And I don't want to cut the grass, so you can go out there and do it and you can fix the fence and all that stuff. I'm fine with it. But women wanted equality and men said okay. But do you guys believe that women truly today, with the feminist movement currently today, that they want equality, or do they actually want superiority? Because let me ask you something. Have you ever heard a woman lament the sentencing of men versus women? Have you ever seen any of these now women come out and say, that's ridiculous that these school teachers who sleep with these little boys got 6 months house arrest? While the man who had sex with a 16-year-old girl, he got 6 years in jail. He was looked at as a horrible person, but somehow the little boy, a 16-year-old boy who has sex with his teacher, he's looked at as the man. You know, I wish my teachers were sleeping with us back then. They were. They just want to sleep with you, sir. But you think about it, you never hear women saying the places where we're getting treated better, men should be treated the same. Never heard a woman say, I'm sick and tired of these men paying for these first dates. We want to do it. I'd like to hear that, but you never hear it. You never hear women say, I'm sick and tired of these women marrying these rich men and taking half. They don't want to change any of these laws. I was talking to a young man last night, and he was talking about he had become a fan of mine and stuff like that, and he was a divorcee, and he was saying, I went from seeing my children every day to seeing them for 48 hours a month. All because of divorce. You never see Geraldo talking about this. You don't see Hannity. You don't see Rachel Mancow. You don't see, is that how you say it? Yes. You never hear any of these people talking about what men go through. And I did this movie called The Fatherless American. In that movie, I went by the where the Twin Towers were. And I saw this big plaque of all the firefighters that ran up into the building to save those people. You know what I didn't see on that plaque? One female. So while the The thing that would make the normal person would say, this thing is on fire, I'm running away. For centuries, what have men done? Ran towards it. D-Day, they ran towards it. It's their job. But those same men who made it out of that building, saved people, many of them found themselves still in divorce court, still seeing their children for 48 hours a month. No one laments that. No one has a problem with that. So why is it that we have men who will sacrifice everything for society as a whole, but they can't even get equality? That same equality that women, the feminists, say that they want, they can't get equality in their children's lives. No one says that these children need their fathers. They need their father's money. You're considered a good father as long as you pay child support. I've never seen a woman go into court and say, I'm fine with the money that I'm getting, but what I really want to do is force him to be with this child. Force you to make him come every weekend or take him to school or make sure they go together. You've never heard this. But you do see men going to jail for simply not paying a bill. Now, I know people say, well, how can you call a child a bill? Once you create that scenario, that's what it is. If you have a house, and you have a mortgage, and when you don't pay your mortgage, imagine if a sheriff showed up and took you to jail for it. Would you love your house the way you love it now? No, you would fear that house, you'd fear that bill, because you know if anything happens, you could lose your freedom. Today, men who lose their job or can't pay child support, they have to go back and beg the courts to lower or suspend this payment. That would be normal. He doesn't have a job. And they will still let it build up and build up. And then when they put you in jail, which is funny, they put you in jail for about 3 months. I think 3 to 6 months at a time. And they put you in jail and you think, well, since I'm in this jail, surely they're going to knock down how much I owe because that's why they put me in jail, right? Oh, no. That's not what happens. It continues to build. Now, if you think about it in 2019, what man really wants to be a man when you have these things on top? You're expected to go out and fight for society, fight for the world, but when you come back, you can't even be something as simple as an everyday dad simply because you get a divorce. Now, most men who are married right now, the person whose idea it was for you to get married was the woman. She got tired of it. My friends have gotten married. We've been together for 6 years. We've been getting the milk for free. So you finally say, okay, I will marry. But did you know that 70% of all marriages end in divorce by the woman? So the person who asked you to get married is the first one to want to be out of it. Why? Because society makes it financially feasible for her to leave you. She will leave with something. Well, I used to work for IBM. It would have been nice if I decided I wanted to quit IBM and still get a check from IBM, even though I left. That's what women can do in a marriage. Now, on the few times that a man actually gets to, Kevin Federline, he was able to get money from Britney Spears. And all the women say he's lazy. What kind of man would want money from a woman? A man who likes money. But the man is looked at bad if he does the same thing a woman does. And these men throughout the United States are still doing the same thing over and over again. You have athletes who have several children and they go broke paying child support. But the women, well, they get a television show called Wags or Housewives of Atlanta or wherever else. And they're not wives, they're just someone who laid down with someone important. Now, I heard someone say something to me and I thought, well, that's a messed up thing to say. But usually the most messed up things to say today are the most truthful things. It said, a woman's vagina can't make a man, but a man's penis can make a woman. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, think of all the women that you know of right now today. They became important or they became known or they became famous because of who they slept with, whatever guy they were with. But do you know many guys who became famous because of what woman they slept with? All the women who slept with Bill Clinton got a measure of fame. All the women who slept with R. Kelly, well, excuse me, the high schoolers who slept with R. Kelly, they got a measure of fame. Everyone gets a measure of fame except the man. I don't hear about too many men who, well, you didn't know him before he slept with whatever this woman is. So a man has a lot of power, but no one teaches a man how much power he has. As a matter of fact, the world tells a man to always lay down his power. If a woman gets cheated on and Joey Greco is anywhere in the vicinity, she's going to slap you in the face and the cameramen are going to come out and watch and everybody's going to laugh because you're now on cheaters. If you catch a woman cheating and you walk up with her with Joey Greco, can you slap her? Nope. Can you throw a drink in her face? Nope. As a matter of fact, women believe they can hit men, and then society tells men to control themselves. No matter how much your phone rings, I'm sorry, I hopefully it'll stop in a minute, but like I just had to be that one. I was doing good for a second, and then it's just hurry up. But I can't even finish. That's just insane. It's one of you out here, so it's coming. I don't know what the hell I was in. But the point is, with men, we're asked to lay down our power. Whatever it is we have, lay it down. And the sad part about it is, if you think about it, we're asking a man to be responsible. Going back to what we were saying. Man, you know you're more powerful than that woman. You know you're stronger than that woman. So no matter how many times she hits you, you should restrain yourself. That's female. When the answer to things is that's a female, that's when I realized, well, there's not much difference between black and white people, even though I thought it was. No, we revere women to the point of where it hurts society and it hurts men. Because logically, if I walked up right now to Shaq, see, I'm a man, I'm held to a standard of responsibility. Shaq is bigger than me, and I should know that. If I walk up and I punch Shaq in the face and he punched me back and knocked me out, what would everybody around say? Should have been fucking with Shaq. No one will say, but Shaq, you're bigger than him. I could go outside right now. There would be a grizzly bear outside that door. I say, fuck you, bear. I've done that once. So I ain't got no ass now. But the bear would then slap me and they would be like, oh my God, he should have been fucking with that bear. What was he thinking about? A woman can walk up to a man that's 3 times her size, slap the shit out of her. He slapped her back, she fall out. Every one of you men will get up and try to fight that guy. Why? Why is she not as responsible as we are to choose our battles wisely? So you have a woman on a bus, and the bus is speeding through Cleveland, Ohio. And the woman is behind the guy, and he's driving the bus and minding his own business. She's slapping him in the back of the head while he's driving, and you guys are on the bus with him. Your lives are in danger, but you say nothing, because it's a black woman. You don't say anything to a black woman, you fucking crazy. You let her do what she does. So in the process, he then pulls over because he's getting tired of getting beaten upon the back of the head. He stops and he says, "You going to jail now?" And he argues this woman. I can't call her a woman, that was a machine, because somehow she took that blow and got right back up. Nobody, even though their lives were in danger, as she was hitting and spitting on this man while they were driving, nobody stopped the woman and said, don't do this. They let their lives be put in danger because they were afraid to tell the woman to restrain herself, to be responsible. As soon as he hit that woman, I don't know how many of you have seen the video, all the men stood up on the bus and said, "That's a female!" So they were willing to die on the bus crash just to not say anything to that machine, that woman. But when it came to that woman being touched, well, let's go to Roe v. Wade. All right, women should be able to, how many of you guys out here believe that women should be able to, are you pro-lifers or are you pro-abortion? Which one are you? Which one? Pro-life?
It's a mix.
Pro-choice.
Life.
Life, all right, lifers, all right. Isn't it funny, though, that they say it's a woman's body and it's her right to choose? And if it's an ugly enough woman and it was one of those nights I didn't really think about what I was doing, I was drunk, I believe she should choose that option. That being said, though, I I can't make her do anything. She can have an abortion because she doesn't want to ruin her swimsuit body. She can do that at a whim. And you could be crying, as I put a video up, where this guy was at the abortion clinic crying because his girlfriend went to the abortion clinic to abort their kid, and he could do nothing about it. So he has to live with it because it's her body, it's her choice. Fine. So she decides to have that baby, and you say, I don't want to have anything to do with it. She says, you shouldn't have got me pregnant. You should have pulled out. You should have wore a condom. Now you got to help me pay for this decision that I made alone. How many of you men think that's fair? Did I have a room full of men with no arms, or no one thinks it's fair? Not fair. I like that. You think it's fair?
No fair.
Okay. But if you think about it, if we are saying things are equal, why is it that we don't have this thing called a financial abortion? Are you serious?
If it's my ex, I'm not here.
If it's your ex, I'm not here. But if you sit and you think about it, men don't have the right to do the thing that does not harm the child in the least. Pay it. It doesn't harm the child in the least if he doesn't give the mother money. But it kills the child if she decides she doesn't want to have it. But we allow her to have that ability to decide whether she wants to have a kid or not. Now they say R. Kelly is wrong for sleeping with a 17-year-old girl or a 16-year-old girl. Yet a 13-year-old girl can have a baby and they allow it. Drinking, right now, the age to drink is 21 throughout the country. Can two 15-year-olds get together and go to a grocery store and buy alcohol? No, they cannot. If you catch two 15-year-olds together buying or drinking alcohol, they get in trouble. Yes? Yes, because they're underage drinking. Yet, a 25-year-old, can a 25-year-old get with a 16-year-old and give them alcohol? Nope. Still wrong. But when it comes to sex, they say a 25-year-old can't sleep with a 16-year-old. That's against the law. Fine, I agree with that. So why can two 16-year-olds still have sex though? If it's illegal for two 16-year-olds to drink, why can they have sex? And then why can those two 16-year-olds who are not smart enough to vote, to decide if they want to drink, but they can raise a child? Where's the logic in that? There is no logic in it. The majority of laws that we have governing us today are not logical. If we sit down and we think about it, it makes no sense. Why is it that I've done stories of 12-year-olds? Just the other day, I did a story of a 12-year-old with a child. My aunt was 14 with 3 children by 3 different men. At 14, and she could not operate a car. So we felt she wasn't smart enough to operate a vehicle because she could harm someone, but she is smart enough to raise 3 children. You want to know why the society is the way it is? Because we don't have logical thinking right now. We have a woman who called my show not last night, but 2 nights ago, and she was talking about living in Philadelphia when a mass shooter was going out there, but he's black, so we don't call him a mass shooter. Just had a bad day. I love it how we talk about those white kids out there shooting, and then you turn on the news and say 60 people were shot this weekend in Chicago. But there are no mass shooters that are black. They're all one-offs. But the woman was telling me, all this guy's out here shooting everyone, and he's doing all of this stuff. And I said, you live there? She said, yes, I live right down the street. I said, how old are you? She said, she's 32. I said, how many children do you have? She said, she had 3 of them. She said, one of them was like 16, one was 14, one was 11. I said, why do you live there in that neighborhood if you have 3 children? Why did you continue to have children in that neighborhood if you knew how bad it was? Because many of you guys should know that one of the largest contributors to poverty in the United States is children. If you just stop having children, you can get yourself out. But you have a society that encourages the broke people to continue to create smaller broke people. She said, there's nothing wrong with living here. Now, this was after she told me a story of her children had seen a 13-year-old boy who got shot and died on their front porch. She said, you can die anywhere. I was like, well, that kind of is true. But then that's liberal logic. That's leftist logic. Okay? Last night, it's not all liberals, it's leftists. Some liberals are saying, We got the same liberals in here?
But then the liberals, yeah.
How do you guys feel about leftists?
Not us.
Right? they're idiots. Well, the leftists are telling those people, no matter how many children you have, it's okay. Somebody should help you. And we've created this new thing that supplements insurance, and it's called GoFundMe. That's right. Need an ass implant? GoFundMe. Kids just died? GoFundMe. Yes, Gerber life insurance is very cheap, but fuck that. Society will always be there to take care of you. Why? Because you're a woman. Have you ever noticed that a woman can get money for her children that she can't take care of? But you've never seen a man be able to go to GoFundMe and say, hey, I'm behind on child support. Can you guys as a community give me the money so I can give it to her to take care of the children? So why is that a thing that we can't do, but we will help every woman whenever she needs help? It's because as men, no one cares about us. And the reason I do what I do is because I'm hoping that day has come and things will change. That we now start to care about men, that we care about fathers, that we care about the guy who drives the train, that we care about the guys who are out there tearing up the streets and repaving them and building the bridges. Because the last time I checked, I've never seen a skyscraper look on the top and see who was walking across those beams with no support. I've never seen a woman do it. So maybe, just maybe today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your lives, you start pushing not only the importance of women, because they do that every day, but what about the men?